Hello everyone, have you ever noticed that the closer we get to the end of summer, the more panicked, at least I become, to get out there and get some great shots before the winter starts to look a little bit drab? Because where I'm at in Nebraska, the summers look like this and the winters look like this. So time is ticking, and since my wife and I had a couple hours of free time in the middle of the day one day, I grabbed my 56 1.2 WR and my Fujifilm XF to get outside and see if I can get at least a couple more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 portfolio shots before the end of the season. Here we are at the garden. We're starting off with some bees and some purple flowery things. And I don't think I've ever sold a shot with a bee in it, but I still love to go and capture them, right? This is my first shot of the day. It looks pretty nice, and I really love the bright and airy feel to it, and the bee is almost glowing. I really, really dig this one. Next up is this flower, which I have no idea what it's called. And you can tell me in the comments all you want, and I'll never remember. Sorry, guys. But I think this one's a decent shot. And now we have this insanely crazy flower thing. I have no idea if it's real or not, right? It looks real. It's like out and it's going into the ground, but it seems like something that someone baked up on one of those crazy baking shows, that stuff they put together. And maybe it's just a glitch in the matrix, but whatever, it's pretty cool. And I do enjoy this picture, even though the wind was blowing the 56 locked onto it. From here, we ventured on into the shade for a few shots, and shooting flowers without sunlight makes exposure easier, but it's not always as beautiful as the full sun. However, this one is kind of soft, diffused lighting. It looks pretty good. Then you have these pink and purpley things. I shifted the color a little on this one just because I kind of wanted to. I like the look of this color a little bit more, and I do dig this photo though. Next up, these flowers have a cool look to them in the video, but I couldn't really capture that in the photographs. I'm not sure why, but they just do not work. And here we are in the wind. You can see the wind in the scene. I captured a single frame of the butterfly in the middle ground, and I like it a lot. It's a good example of the 56 1.2 focusing accuracy. It might not be the fastest, but it really locks on, and you're confident that what you're focusing on is going to be in focus. And the second shot of the scene is one I really like. I wanted to capture the feeling of movement here, and the way the background blur combines with the color combo of the purple and gold is really cool. And finally, now we get a sprinkler shot. You'll see me take some of these shots with the water, with the sprinklers going on in the background throughout this video. And I think I mostly failed to make them very cool at all. I got maybe one shot later on. You can see this shot, for instance, is kind of decent. You can see some of the water spray here, and I guess it's fine. I kept trying different compositions. You can see a few options here, but honestly, the one without the water is probably the best. It's just a nice, crisp, pretty flower photo. And the white flower really stands out. We kept moving. We moved on and found these flowers backlit in a beautiful way. The flowers themselves were a little ugly, right? They're kind of burning up at the edges, but with the light looking so beautiful behind them, oh my goodness, it just came out to be a really gorgeous warm light. Now this next scene I edited in a couple different ways. I did the one on the left with a warmer and softer look, kind of like morning light. While the one on the right is a little bit colder, but features the bee just a little bit more. I enjoyed the feel of both of these. I'm not going to say that one is right, and I think some people would look at this in multiple ways, and they can decide for themselves which one they like better. My wife and I moved on, and we found another butterfly. Butterflies are so cool, right? They're just pretty, and we both fired away at it. Here's my wife with the OM1, and I'm shooting with the XH2, of course. I managed to get this one shot before it flew off, but it's one I really like a lot. And this shot of a scene was one that I almost didn't take. I thought it would be ugly with the pot in it, but it's actually kind of nice, right? It gives us a little bit of context here, so that's pretty cool. Here's some more sprinkler action going on. I kept trying to get cool shots using the water, and again, I think I mostly am failing here. The shot with the rainbow would have been cool if the foreground was anything to look at all. Honestly, don't remember. Being in the scene, I was more focused on getting the rainbow than worrying about my foreground, and I'm beating myself up for that a little bit. In this photo right here, one of the possibly best photographs ever made of a human, right? I look at the majestic figure that I make. My wife captured me perfectly, and yeah, it's just thank you so much for that, Casey. And after we moved on and marveled at how beautiful that photo was, we found a little bit of running water here on these rocks, and of course I almost never bring a tripod, but you know what, my backpack, I just put it on the ground, and sometimes that kind of stuff works. I put my camera on a timer, and the water turned out a little bit blurry. It's not bad. There are, a lot of people that freak out about diffraction and all that kind of stuff. And I used f14 here, which is definitely diffraction zone, but I think the photo's sharp enough and it works fine. I will never stop shooting grasses like this. The flow and movement with these photos is just great. And with the 56 1.2, the background is so buttery smooth. And then I finally maybe got a decent shot with the sprinkler. It definitely looks like a flower moving in a storm, which is really cool. It's a little bit different. It's not something that we see very much of. And so I really like how different this photo is, even if it's not perfect. I like something about it though. One of my favorites of the day, though, has to be this one. It's sharp where it needs to be, but the blur is just so beautiful. It's so pretty. The 56 1.2 is capable of some amazing buttery smooth backgrounds. My obsession with the sprinkler continues here though, and you can see luckily the Fuji XH2 with this 56 1.2 WR is water resistant, so I had no problems here. These fields of flowers are a lot of fun to photograph. There are endless composition opportunities, but at the end of the day, while this photo is nice, there's just too much dead stuff in it, right? And it goes to the same with the next one. It's pretty, but the dead stuff just doesn't do it for me. And I wasn't paying as much of attention as I should have been in the scene, but that's okay. We're taking multiple photos here. It's digital, it's almost free. And this is finally a decent one with the white flower popping out, and it doesn't really have any of those ugly distractions that the other ones do. The next set is probably my favorite set of images from today. Each one I think is really pretty, and with an easy center of visual interest, your eyes go, even though there's a lot going on, your eyes go to one place. I'm moving into the scene and I'm moving around quite a bit to let my lens get kind of covered up by some of the stuff real close to it. It helps blur parts of the image that would otherwise be chaos and hide some of the parts that I don't want to be seen. And, looking at my photos, this set right here are probably my favorite, even though there might be a couple more that I would add into my portfolio. I think each one of these is a little different, but the colors and compositions overall are pleasing to me and I like them. This one is especially one that I like, and I think it's going to be a really beautiful large photo. So I popped it into my favorite mockup app. It's called Smartest. I'm not an affiliate or anything like that. I just use it all the time. And what I do is I try to make, realistic, beautiful mock-ups so people might be able to think about what it would look like if they bought it and put it on a wall. And real quick, here we are. Special thanks to my wife, Casey. Casey, you rock. Thank you for helping me out with my videos and with going out and taking photos with me and showing me that there is true, incredible beauty in the world. I don't have to go and focus on the abandoned places. So thank you. And for the rest of you, thank you for being here. If you have any kind of comments or anything like that, throw them below. Any questions on the XH2 or the 56 1.2, and I can help you out. So have a good one.